everyone. It's Lexan TV, and of course, it's your girl Lexan. Listen, despite everything that's happening around us, the show must go on. And when I tell you the show got to go on, it really has to happen. I really want to say a special shout out to all the folks who've stopped by the page thus far, checked out the interview, the present content that's available. Thank you so, so very much. I really appreciate your effort, and I appreciate even more so your patience, because I know that, you know, Lexan TV is a work in progress. But when I tell you I've got some big guns to roll out for the next couple of weeks, you're going to see exactly what I mean. And I'm so excited. This is my first official Zoom interview, and I'm going to be connecting with someone who is very close to me. I'm not going to give away too much just yet. He is going to say what he has to say. But remember, on this platform, it's all about life. Lexan TV is all about life. And today I'll be chatting with my brother in so many ways, but as well. He's known to the world as Mark Strong. Mark Strong. I know many of you know Mark Strong, right?
He teeth my name.
Strong, of course, he has been in the media industry for, we're talking about what? Mark, we're talking about what, 20 plus years?
20 odd years, a lot of time, man, about 20 years.
And I just want to say thank you. There's a long road getting here. But thank you so much for accepting my invitation to do this this chat right here for Lexan TV. You know, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I first want to thank all the viewers and everybody who tunes in. I really appreciate everything that that the social media has done to allow people to continue to connect with people. And if you're talking about lifestyle and talking about life changes and talking about everyday life, then this is the perfect way to do it, is to connect online. So I'm happy to be here.
Mark, firstly, I told people, you know, we're family.
Yeah.
To be about family. I wanted to be about all you.
Okay.
But tell me, what made you really, you know, gravitate towards media?
Well, I think it's in our blood. I know we're not supposed to talk about family, but our family are full of characters. We're full of personality. We're full of energy, and we're full of talent. And some of us have been chosen and picked to put it on a different platform. Most of the time, and everybody can relate to this, Grenadian, people from Toronto, anybody from the Caribbean, anywhere, Europe, it doesn't matter where you're looking right now, you all have family members that are that person at the barbecue, that person at the Christmas dinner, that person at the... And those are the people that we grew up looking at and said, you know, I'm as stupid as him, but I think I can do it in a better way. So we find a way to try and make it a professional lane for ourselves. And by the grace of God, we're successful at doing it. We get the opportunity to do it, and then we put our talent out there. So I think I always wanted to be in entertainment and in media and in that sort of limelight, only because I think it was a calling inside me to do. I'm not an office guy. I don't push papers. I don't crunch numbers. I don't do all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I did the talking. You know what I mean?
Take us back to the roots now, because you are born and bred and everything in Canada.
So the family tree, I'm born here in Toronto. If you're from Toronto or been here to Toronto, I was born at Mount Sinai Hospital downtown Toronto, right across the street from Sick Kids Hospital, one of the most world-renowned hospitals for treating children with different surgeries and diseases and whatnot and recoveries. It's an incredible place. And later on in life, I was graced to actually work at Sick Kids Hospital. So it was interesting to be there as well. But my roots are coming from my mother and father, who are from Grenada, you know, Carenage, one of them, either Happy Hill or San Cecilia. I don't know which part, where that, I can't remember where that's from. But either way, part is, I know Reggie will kill me, but you know what I mean. But my point is we've always grown up, even though we're in Toronto, we grew up in a Grenadian life, right? So as much as we might have had the Canadian education and maybe a little too much more spaghetti than we had regular oil down. At the same time, it was a beautiful balance, because our culture is what kept us moving in this society, right? And what's beautiful about Toronto and different places around the world is that you're allowed to express your culture regardless of the land mass that you're in. So even though we're in Toronto, the Grenada was always in me. So we used to go down to Grenada all the time and visit you and go up by River Road and climb that blasted steps and ask you to hold the dog because I'm frightened. Yeah, like you know already. I can tell them the things like that. So all of that we used to go up to do. We used to love it. So the point is that we used to love going to Grenada once a year probably. After we had our caravan here, we go down there. We the play mass, we see family, and we just continually was connected to the culture of Grenada there and as well here. So I'm so blessed to be able to have both cultures and then be able to put this, everything you see in that Grenada culture still goes out onto the Toronto basketball court because it's all me. So I want people to be proud of the fact that when you see me out there, it's not just me from Toronto, it's me representing Greens there on the red court.
Yeah. Woo! You remember a song called Wind Down Betty?
Oh, you mean? Wind down Betty, wind down Betty, let me sing for you, girl.
Sam Key.
You know, 1980, yes.
So
I think back to like 1980s, 1990s, long time.
So you've been exploring all these great possibilities in the field of media, and you get the call, arena host for the Raptors. How did it happen?
Well, that was an interesting story too, because we were doing radio at first. So we were doing radio in the morning show, and we were doing a radio station that was the first Black radio station ever in Canada. So it was the very first to ever be Black owned and Black music and all that stuff. So we were the morning show host there. We left there. I like to say we left there because the truth is we got fired, but we left there. And after we left, this is part of reality. So we got canned. But before we got canned, though, there were some people there. You make connections. And what's very important about branding is your connectivity to not just your brand, but how your brand connects to the rest of the field that you're in. And that could be in accounting. That could be in being a doctor. That could be whatever you're doing. Your brand of who you are is important on a vast scale. You have to make sure that the tentacles reach everywhere so that you touch any place. Because I've always been somebody that any door that opens, I'll walk in through it. I don't care what it is, as long as I ain't compromising myself, hurting somebody else. Let's try a thing and see how far this thing will go. You know what I mean? So when I was at the morning show, we did a lot of interviews with a lot of different stars, and we did some stuff with some basketball players, football players, things of that nature. And the people in those organizations afterwards said, "Hey, look, would you be interested in hosting? We have a Canadian football team here called the Toronto Argonauts, and they're part of the CFL. So would you like to be part of the CFL's in-house arena host because this person's leaving?" It's like, sure, why not? I'll try it. You know what I mean? So I tried that. While I was doing that now, somebody in the Toronto Raptors organization said, "Hey, Mark, do you know anybody that would like to be the host of the Toronto Raptors?" I go, "Me?" So So I told them, "Let me do it." So for 3 years, I did the Argos, and then when that season was done, I went and did the Raptors. So I was the whole year long, I'm doing sports and I'm hosting. I'm doing the in-house hosting for the group. So what happened is it pretty much was, and I will tell people again too, it's who knows you and who you know. Now, I know Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, but he don't know me. So he needs to know me more than I know him. So it's important that how you brand yourself and how you reach out to people is what's most effective so that they will remember you and bring you on board. So yeah, that's how it happened with me. And from then on, we went on to more radio and championship and all kind of things.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, it's been fun.
That's incredible. It is incredible. And of course, watching you in action, and there's a particular image of you standing center court, just waiting, waiting your moment. I want to know what goes through your mind every time you're in that zone just before you start. Ladies and gentlemen,
basketball fans, would you please welcome the starting lineup for your Toronto Raptors!
There's two balances at that point. The very first one is my center with God. And I want people to know that that is something that is been instilled in me from time, that no matter what it is I'm doing, that comes first. So the first thing I'm with is that I am walking out with a presence and strength of God's will, of that I am supposed to be right here center court. That's the first thing. The second one is I'm literally inhaling the energy. 25,000 people standing, lights, cell phone, camera, pyro, strobe lights, everything, music playing, everything, right? And so as soon as I get to that point and and they say, they mention my name to say it's time to do the starting lineup, and I take that breath, I'm talking to energy, I'm talking from God's grace to your energy, and I'm bringing everything that is there into the center court where I am, because I want all of the 25,000 people there and the millions that are watching on TV to be bring that energy to the court for our team that day. So some people think it's heavy. It's a beautiful feeling.
It's beautiful, right?
It's a beautiful feeling. You know what I mean? It fulfills you in so many ways without ego. I mean, it fulfills your spirit, your soul, your mentality, your breathing is, it's an abundance. It's amazing, man.
And this is why I tell people, you know where you belong when everything is fully charged. And
that's right.
You're just doing what you love on pure adrenaline.
That's right.
Passion. And I mean, I word passion, it seems a bit overused, but hey, it is what it is. And
it is.
You're just in that zone. You're just in that
absolutely
zone. And you can just tell, listen, man, this is where I am meant to be.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely the place that you're meant to. It's the core of where you are, their talent. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Fantastic. Tell me about one of your most memorable interviews. I know with your radio program and all of that,
mm-hmm.
Would you say would have scored really high on the radar for you? Wow.
So there are so many different places to go with that, because we've spoken to athletes. I've gone from speaking to Magic Johnson, to speaking to Denzel Washington, to speaking to Jennifer Lopez. Like I don't even know where to start when it comes to those interviews. I think one of the most memorable moments, which might not be as, oh, that's not a big name. It's a big name, but I know you might know the actor Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
Now, Lou Gossett Jr. is somebody from several different movies. He's been in Roots, all those big movies. But the interview with him that was most unique for me was off air, because we were talking on air and we were joking and whatever. And he came off air and he looked at me and he said, "You remind me so much of my son."
Really?
I was like, I don't even know this guy. He's an award-winning actor. He's been around for decades in the field. And he said, something about your energy that you have really reminds me of my son. And he gave me a book and he signed it. He gave me his number. There's a very interesting connection that we had from that day. So I think the reason why that stands out in my mind is that all of the interviews that we've had have been fun, have been interesting, have brought out different things, but the connectivity that you have with somebody personally is what's you carry with you the rest of your life. And when people come up to me, for example, and say, "Oh, can I get an autograph or something?" I always ask them, which might be weird to some people, but I ask them if it would be okay if we took a picture instead. And the reason I do that is because if you gave me this pen, I could write Sean Paul's name and you wouldn't know if Sean Paul wrote it or me. But if you take a picture and you hold that moment of face, of eyes, of spirit, of smile, that's something you can take with you. A signage to you might be okay, and maybe you want to sell my name, but it's not going to be worth much, to be honest. But if it's a picture, it is much more valuable. So what you take away?
So tell me about that moment when Kingsman, you know where I'm going,
I know exactly where you're going. I know exactly where you're going. I
right?
can send you the video.
Oh my God. Hi.
Kingsman something circle? No, Kingsman.
Yeah. It was so long ago that I was on the set.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was on the set so long ago that I can't really remember.
right. So I remember.
If
Yeah, poking fun.
yeah, me.
The Mark Strong, the other Mark Strong in the industry.
Well, so here's the thing. Myself and Halle Berry have had this working relationship for a long time, and it's something that has developed over years. But there's been another gentleman. I'll just say he's a gentleman because even though he stole my name, not my persona, has also found a way to edge himself into the acting field. Applause on him. But when it comes to really doing the work, just take a look at some of my videos, some of my posts. I mean, you'll see that Halle and myself have worked very, very close together.
Oh,
right under her name is mine. If you notice, it's Halle Berry and then Mark Strong.
oh, okay. Why did you come up with the name?
I was also in, I was in Green Lantern too. Sorry. So Mark Strong, the reason I was, yes, absolutely. The Black Green Lantern. So I came up with Mark Strong because, as you know, Mark is part of my name.
Yes.
And Strong was so in the radio business here, everybody has a alias, everybody has a stage name, right? So part of it is because they want to make sure that their private life is always private. People don't start looking. This is a crazy world. People will Google people, look for people, all kind of thing, right? So when I was at my first radio station, they said, okay, we're gonna want to come up with a name for you. And I said, well, I gave them my, it sounds funny, I gave them my real government name, and they go, that's perfect. I go, no, but that's my government name. They're going to find me. So then they said, well, Mark is great, and everything about you is strong. Your voice is strong, your presence is strong, your talent is strong. I go, well, I could have told you that, so thank you. So Mark Strong it is. That was easy.
Out the park.
Yeah, out the park, gone.
So how would you say COVID-19 has affected your career?
I've mentioned whether it be on the radio or it be, well, radios are different, but I'll let you go stay with the Raptors. Raptors, I do voiceovers for, let's say if you've seen the Grammys, we have the Canadian Grammys that goes across Canada. I've been the live voice for that show for like 12, 13 years. I've done a couple other award shows as well too. But because those shows require audiences and they require people in the seats, the Raptors, my job is to hype 25,000 people who cannot come into these stadiums. Yeah. And so when you're having events and award shows, you don't have award shows for people who you can't do a show.
Right.
It's affected me quite directly, but at the same time, I'm telling you, Alexan, as much as you try to stay away from something, no matter what it is, if you have to do it, you have to do it.
True.
And I'll tell you about this because let me tell you something about Lexan, everybody. Listen to me carefully. Me and Lexan about a year ago or something, I can't remember what it was. We started talking about, look, how do we do this podcasting?
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
You remember? So me and Lexan how do we do this podcasting? And this was pre-COVID, right? So first of all, Lexan is a visionary. I'll tell you that one. Two, her determination is incredible as well too, because as much as I topped it, she went and did it. I'm on her show and she's not on mine. You notice that because I don't have one. But the point is that we decided that we are going to reinvent ourselves some way, somehow, and continue to be present, right? And this internet, this world that has made Grenada talk to Toronto as easy as a couple of numbers is incredible, right? So when it comes to reinventing myself through COVID, now I'm able to do things like reconnect with different arena hosts in the NBA, and we're trying to do different projects to continue to keep our presence in a virtual manner. So it allows us to keep doing that. And now I'm able to do voiceovers for places overseas, international, because I'm on different scales now, which I never pushed myself to do before. Because when you have a thing, you have your work, you have your thing, you're good, right? You're settled.
Yeah.
And then when it's taken away from you, you start going, oh boy, right? So now I'm finally trying to find other ways to reconnect myself and reinvent myself, but while staying myself. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
COVID has been hard for us all, man.
It's made some of us just dig deeper and just say, you know what, my head has to and needs to stay above water.
Absolutely.
And I really empathize with folks who've lost loved ones, friends, family.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And speaking on the somber note of tough, there's so much going on in the world, but then there's so much more going on in the United States of America. And I know you're very passionate about, human rights. I know you're passionate about just mankind,
Yeah.
And without us getting into a whole different show here, and I felt compelled to touch on it. And I really want to find out from you. And I'm just going to say this, what do you think America needs right now, Mark?
I think in general, America needs a lot of what the world needs, but America needs it a little bit more concentrated. And they need three things. They need to start with a humility.
Yeah.
And then they need to look for truth and reconciliation. And reconciliation is what everybody wants to get to. They want to reconcile. They want to have peace. They want to have forgiveness. They want to do right by people. So that's the easy part. The other two are the parts that I don't think America is ready for yet, but is being pushed to do so, which is to learn and accept the truth of some of the ills that are happening in their country. And the humility is to be able to appreciate it, withstand it, admit to it, and try and work on it. So I think everybody in general in their life, if you took those three things, that's what we need to center ourselves with. But the country of America, which is, of course, we know for generations has been, in a certain position in the world, those are the three things that they need in order to at least quell some of the rage that's happening in that country right now. They do everything big, even when it's bad. You know what I mean? So they'll do, whether they're the big country that wins a war, or the big country that has a lot of money, or the big country that has artists that make millions of dollars or millions of movies. But then when it comes to racism, then when it comes to sexism, when it comes to brutality, when it comes to, that's also just as big. So there's no middle ground, you know what I mean? So they need to find a place of humility, a place of understanding and accepting truth in order to get to a place of reconciliation.
Well said. Well said, my brother.
What's even sadder, and I think we've seen this in whether it be biblical times or anything, a lot of things have to get worse before they get better.
That's right.
And as worse as we think we have it, I don't think we're worse yet. It still has to get worse to get better. So hang on, people.
I know you're on Instagram. How can folks just reach out and say, hey, my Grenadian brother?
All the time. Yeah, Strizzy everywhere on Instagram. You can also check me out, Strizzy, at Facebook and on Twitter. And you can check us out at g9a7fm.com in the morning show. And if you want to see what a championship team looks like, you just look for your Toronto Raptors here. That's who we are. I should have wore the ring. I should go to and get a ring.
Wore the ring!
It's just it's encased, it's enshrined upstairs someplace. There's a light on it and everything. So.
Who's that one person that you'd love to score an interview with and you're yet to score an interview with?
Wow. I had a chance to talk on the phone with this gentleman, but I would like to sit down and speak to Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is somebody who I would say really Eddie and Spike.
Oh boy.
Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And again, I've met Spike, but I haven't had a sit down interview with him because I would like to, because something about those two elements of life have really kind of channel me. Like Spike is very political, black political, and Eddie is very, very entertaining on any scope. So I like both extremes, and I try to make it into Mark Strong. You know what I mean? So those are two extremes I would love to sit down and talk to for sure.
Those are two good choices. Two really good choices.
100%.
If you weren't doing this, what would you have been doing?
I'm a very humble individual when it comes to wanting to provide. As long as I'm providing for my family, the limelight doesn't mean anything to me, right? So the likes and stuff doesn't mean anything to me. What means to me is that my family's okay. I get to see my family. I get to hang out. That's all for me. So there was one point in time I didn't mind being a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. It didn't matter as long as I'm able to provide for the family. You know what I mean? But I would say that if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be doing more films with Halle Berry. But I mean, that's the other hero there. I mean, we're not gonna go there. I just thought I put it out there. I'm gonna have a cancel it 1 second.
I need to send this interview to Halle.
She's probably looking now. Hey, girl.
Probably looking now.
Hey, Halle, how you doing? Lexan TV.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Mark, I want to say thank you so much for making time for me, making time for Lexan TV, sharing your journey right here on this platform for everyone. Because I know lots of folks, I know we were bigging up our family for our family reunion. Remember that?
Yeah.
Last year, right?
Amazing.
Who are like, who's Mark Strong? And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know who he is. But thank you so much again, and keep inspiring me. And yeah, do put in a word and say hi to Eddie and say hi to Spike for me when you connect.
I think it was a beautiful blessing that we were able to have that reunion the year before, because we would have never been able to make that happen. So God works in his own ways. And I definitely want to say to your listeners, your viewers, those who tune in, that I couldn't have been more proud when I saw this was launching, because this is something that I know is a person that not only deserves it, but a person who is put in the position that I think people need to hear from, that can gravitate to, and that they can allow themselves to relate to. And so you needed and always deserve a platform to be that person for everyone else. Nobody, and this is not because you're my cousin. You know what I mean? It's not because you're my cousin. Yeah, me too. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to think.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. Sorry. Them onions and them, you know what I mean? But honestly, you are where you're supposed to be. So just keep doing your thing, and you will see that very soon you will score an interview with Halle as well.
I believe you. I believe you. Oh, that is God.
That's my cousin, boy. That's Lexan, my cousin. Lexan, boy. You mean? Yo, the last Zoom call we had with all of our family, I said, Lexan, when am I going to be on Lexan TV? What's going on? I mean, what? And so said, so done.
It's true. You see?
I appreciate it.
Nothing before it's time.
True indeed.
What about that live show with you and my girl Jam? Is that still?
Jam, yeah. In the morning show, yeah. G987 FM morning show, Mark and Jam. So G987FM.com. It is the second Black-owned radio station in all of Canada. It's the only one we have in all of Canada. There's only been two. We were on the first ones. Now we're on the second one. You're getting everything from the hip hop to the R&B to the old school to the soca music to the chutney music to the African music, Jamaica, the reggae, dancehall, funk music, grapevine, talking church, gospel music. Everything happens on this station within our culture, and I mean every single thing. So please, if you can, tune in and check it out, right? And Jem is from where's she from? Wester Hall.
Wester Hall, St. David.
From Wester Hall. Them area there. Them people out there. I love you guys. Just kidding. I love you guys.
Mark, thank you so much. And to each and every one of you who made some time to check out this interview, don't forget there's lots more to come on Lexan TV. Remember, it's all about life. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.